The thoughts, views, and opinions expressed on the Canna Connect Show belong solely to the individuals and do not reflect those of Canna Connect and its affiliates, sponsors, or partners. Canna Connect does not promote or facilitate any activity that violates state or federal regulations. Everything you hear here is strictly for educational and entertainment purposes. It is not legal advice, it is not financial guidance, and it's definitely not medical direction. Seriously, don't take our word for it. Even if someone on the mic sounds like they know what they're talking about, and they're probably crazy smart too. Regardless of how legit our guests may be, you should always do your own homework, consult with your attorney, and understand the risk you're taking before you do anything when it comes to cannabis. Our intention is to keep it real. If you've got a problem with anything we've said, take us to court.
What can I say about Hellmuth Johnson? Carol Moss. Carol like Christmas, Moss like Randy. Carol will be joining the show today, 12:15. She's great. We're going to talk about how she helped push back against the OCM and allow for hemp beverages to be shipped in the mail, as they should. Is it interesting being a lawyer in the Minnesota cannabis industry in 2026?
It's actually really exhausting.
It's exhausting. It's exhausting, and you sort of have to do it because there's other lawyers out there, but people come to you. The buck stops with Hellmuth and Johnson.
And, we're talking about state law, we're talking about federal law, we're talking about agency, local law, and everything is always changing.
Okay.
And the other thing is really hard is that, we're dealing with a new statute, we're dealing with a new agency. Right. And so I feel like we're building the plane as we're flying it, right? And so when a client comes to me with an issue, I say to them, okay, well, this is how I interpret the statute. This is how I interpret the regulatory rules. This is how I interpret X, Y, and Z.
Yeah.
But until somebody does it and OCM thumbs up or thumbs down, I don't know how OCM will respond to things. So
Interpretation, and then on the operator side, is it adherence?
Yes.
To the law?
Yes.
But there's no scoreboard until a penalty is called.
Yes. Or somebody does it and then gets, their hand slapped.
And then there's a reference to...
And then finally, because lawyers, what we do is we look at other case law. We look at other, what's the precedent. We just don't have that in cannabis in Minnesota. So I've had to look at other states. Okay, how did other states do these type of contracts? But until, OCM actually interprets things, I don't know how they're going to interpret things.
How does Hellmuth and Johnson take on a new industry? Because there aren't just a bunch of new industries popping up online that Hellmuth and Johnson is serving. Yeah. Right.
Well, so we're a full service law firm and I'm a litigator. Yeah. So I was in court all the time in state and federal courts.
Also exhausting.
Oh, very well. I went into cannabis because I knew that if I stayed in litigation, I was going to die of a heart attack. It is stressful, right?
Yeah.
So I just wanted this chance and to be in this new industry is super interesting for a lawyer, the legal gymnastics. Yeah. And then, just everything, the timing was great. 2022, the Lodos, remember the stadium bar where we used to have your parties?
Who were some of your first Lodos hemp customers, accounts, clients?
Yeah, so really, I met a lot of people at your party at Stadium. I met Stephanie there.
You met her at the bar. Yes. I remember the table you and your husband were at.
And then I met Jamie there. Jamie's husband was at Aquaman for the Halloween party.
Yes. Oh, they were so good. They still are. Veronica, that was the first time I met Veronica. She showed up with a bunch of samples for Isota.
Jamie, I met Jamie there for the first time. Wow. Bridget there for the first time.
Yes. And okay, so last night, there was a dinner at Red Rabbit. There was a function at the Basement Bar. So the Basement Bar to Red Rabbit. Well, what's in between? Stadium Bar and Grill. 4 years later, 5 years later.
Isn't that awesome?
Yeah, it is.
For forcing my husband to come with me because I need nobody.
Only time I've met your husband in the stadium.
The only event he's ever been to.
I love that, and yeah, I mean that's where I get that's where my reference from.
I met John from Edwin's Edibles there.
He was there, yeah.
And the High North guys, they had just, like, they were just coming out.
North Canico at the time. Yes. We'll have to look at what date that was. So that was the Halloween
It was a Halloween party.
Right. So it was October of 21.
Yes.
Wow. And now we're in 26, so we're coming up on 5 years of no.
But isn't that amazing? Like, it feels like it was like 20 years ago.
Yeah.
It's only 5 years ago, but it feels like that was like decades ago.
Okay, so we are nearing the end of that era of being able to operate on 172.
Yeah.
As it relates to liquor license, good to go. Samples, gummies, bevs, no worries, as long as they're compliant. As of March 31st, the window will close. End of an era is upon us.
Yeah, you're right. It is. That was like we got excited about. I remember when the edibles thing got, through the house or through the.
Sure.
Yes. Curtis from Curtis Hanna sent me a text message like at 11 o'clock. And he's like, Carol, we did it. It worked. And I was like, it did?
Wow. And that was 22. That would have been legislative session of 2022.
Because then July 1st, 22 is when people started manufacturing them. And I remember telling people, we're going to get edibles. And they're like, no, no, no. I'm like, yes, you're going to be able to get edibles. And nobody believed me.
Right. But from an interpretation standpoint, having a good lawyer is so important because as of the 2018 Farm Bill, if you could have maneuvered and done the gymnastics and been the Simone Biles of legal hemp cannabis, you would have understood you could technically have started as of the 2018 Farm Bill, but it doesn't happen all at once.
No.
Like you were mentioning, it's okay, these people are interpreting it this way, and now they're going to move this way.
Yes.
And we're manufacturing in Minnesota, but we're getting cease and desist, but our friends are manufacturing in Wisconsin, and they're getting away with it. Okay, we need to take a step towards
That's exactly how it works. Like, people try things, and it doesn't work, or it does work.
Yeah.
And you're like, okay. But, like, I'll have a client call me, and they'll be like, Carol, you told me X, Y, and Z, but I talked to so-and-so, and they say it's Y, 1, 2, 3. And I'm like, it's really hard because I'm like, hey, all I could do is give you my interpretation, and this is why I think this. Like, I don't just give people my opinion, like, yes, you could do that. Like, I explain to them why I think they can do that.
Right. And a lawyer is not your mom.
No. I mean, sometimes I see people online, and I'm like, should I call them?
And the answer is usually no.
No, I'm like, you know what? I just let them be. I let them be. But sometimes it's really hard because, like, I feel like emotionally invested in this industry. Like, we've been around working for it. Like, I want it to succeed. And so a lot of times I, like, try to, work with OCM or work with legislators on things like maybe aren't client specific, but industry.
Broader goals.
Yeah. So, I do a lot of work. I'm not a lobbyist, but like I do a lot of work to try to help the industry as a whole rather than just, I help my clients too. And in the end, it helps my clients.
It's communication with stakeholders.
Yep.
Yeah. And I don't want to brush over this.
Yeah.
They listen to you because of your pedigree, because of your tenure, because of your work understanding what they're up to.
I hope that's true.
What they're up to. Well, not everyone. No, sure, you can call the OCM, but the conversations that I assume you're having to some degree come with a certain amount of respect on both sides.
Yeah. Yes.
Now, it gets challenging when they interpret things quite differently than the status quo.
Yeah.
And whether you like it or not, like, I think of I think of hemp as PG-13, and I think of AU as R-rated movies.
Yeah.
And I think you shouldn't. The ticket taker is gonna make sure that you're of age.
Yep.
Now, I get that it's not a perfect analogy, but what I'm getting to is with the OCM and where they were coming at shipping.
Yeah.
Which I look at it from a business to consumer standpoint. Many operators on the gummy and Lodo side look at it from a business to business. I need to supply my customers, not my end users, but my customers. And it's not affordable for me to deliver these products individually.
But also think about it as an access issue, right? One of the things that OCM came back to justify their position in that case was we're going to be licensing delivery people.
Yeah.
But if you are in the country, if you're rural, nobody's going to go out to you. Nobody's going to bring you anything out there. And what are they going to do if they can't buy directly from a Minnesota business? They're going to buy from an out-of-state business. And that business is going to ship in. And it's almost just like in 21. Yeah, exactly. Because that's what happened when the Department of Ag, remember in 21, they were cutting down
cease and desist
on Minnesota businesses, and all the out-of-state was just raking it in. And that was one of the reasons that we went to the legislators and like, hey, this isn't fair. And that's how we got the low dose thing.
Right.
And we're at risk of that happening again.
Yes.
Because people like these products.
Yes, it fits their lifestyle.
It fits their lifestyle. How many times people say they replace alcohol and it helps them sleep? All sorts of different things. In addition to they're just fun, right?
Yeah. Add some CBG to it and you're having a good time. Yeah.
So, it was really important that we push back on that issue.
And it was a team effort.
Yeah.
It was multiple hemp brands for one. And let's give credit to Laylee.
Yeah, Laylee came to me with the idea. She did a ton of work on it. I mean, it was a big issue for not just the parties of the lawsuit, but just across the state.
Yeah.
And we brought, more than one party. We could have just gone forward with Crested River, for example.
Sure.
But we wanted to demonstrate that this was an industry issue.
Yes.
We didn't want one business to have a target on their back.
Yes.
And so
I was reaching out to Rabidou every 3 to 5 weeks, being like, hey, is there anything happening? Is there anything new? Because, Matt and his company, Rain Labs, they were a part of the petition. And I liked how there was smaller, medium, larger. I view Balance as a larger brand. So kudos to you and kudos to everyone involved. What did it take from the Hellmuth and Johnson side to approach what's the word here? Because it's a petition.
Yeah.
But what concerns did you have to raise to the administrative judge?
Yeah. So this is a great question. So what happened was OCM issued an FAQ, said no more shipping directly to customers. And that was a huge shift from what has been happening for years, right?
Yeah.
People have been doing it for years. And the reason why they gave this instruction or this FAQ is because you have to check if somebody's 21 and over, and you can't sell to somebody visibly intoxicated. That's been the law since 22. That's nothing new. Not new.
Okay.
And so we went to them and we said, you are creating a regulatory rule by having this FAQ. I don't know if you were very involved in the rulemaking process a couple of years ago, but there's a very specific process that regulatory agencies need to go through for a rule to have the force of law.
Right.
But if you don't go through that, then it's not enforceable. So our petition was that OCM, it's an FAQ, but really in practice, it's a regulatory rule, and they didn't go through their proper process.
Wow.
And therefore, it's unenforceable.
Wow.
That was the position.
Okay. Great.
Are we recording?
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Josh, are you here?
Okay.
Shout out to Open Window Production, Josh McGrain, Henry Schneider, holding this down. If you need help in the video and audio space, reach out to Open Window. They're out of Oakdale. Although on Google Maps, it still comes up as St. Paul. There we go. No, you're not doing this alone.
Yeah.
Let's talk about how the Hellmuth and Johnson team has grown and who's part of the team.
Yeah. So, the one thing I just want to say about that case is that through all of this process, I have tried to maintain a collaborative relationship with OCM, right? Because if I have a good relationship with OCM, that's helpful to my clients. And so it was, look, I was nervous about bringing this because it was an adversarial process, right? We were suing OCM. But I think like it was important because it's a new agency and it's still learning the ropes on how to act. And so it was really important, even though it was taken away from that collaborative approach that I've taken from OCM.
If not you, at some point they were going to deal with this.
Yes.
And often it comes up, it's not personal, it's business.
Yes.
You're representing clients that are severely affected by this potential change.
Yeah. And then like our team at Hellmuth, so it has grown so much.
Wow.
So we're a full service law firm. So, this is pretty much all I do. I do litigate still, but Nicole Rash is my colleague. She does cannabis full time too.
Cool.
But we also like pull in from other departments.
Okay. Yeah.
Like I have a colleague, Darby, who's in our real estate, and she's like fantastic, and she's done enough cannabis clients that she knows it.
Okay.
And then for the lawsuit against OCM, I brought in my colleague, Stephen Forrest. So Stephen came to Hellmuth right from the Attorney General's office.
Really?
So his job for years was the guy that we were against. So I really like tapped into him. He knows the judges. He knows, the process. So he did a lot of the writing and he argued the case.
Right.
So having him in our firm has just been like huge because this is going to happen again.
It is.
Yeah.
Now, kind of a random question, but
Yeah.
when wins like this happen, do other law firms, colleagues, counterparts in the industry, do they ever reach out and say kudos or thank you?
Yes, I get that. Also, people call me like, hey, can I have a copy of that order? Like, that's a good win. I think I'm going to use this win in a different circumstance.
Okay, great.
So it is like a very collaborative industry because there's not very many cannabis lawyers in Minnesota.
Okay.
It's we all try to share information.
Yeah. That's good. That's good to hear. I'm happy to hear that.
Yeah.
Let's just quick check for time. Okay. So if folks want to reach out to Hellmuth and Johnson, get in touch with you and the team.
Yeah.
Where's the best place to send them?
That just to our website.
Yeah.
Or C Moss. Carol like Christmas, Moss like random moss.
Moss at hjlaw.com.
hjlawfirm.com.
HJLaw.
Carol like Christmas, Moss like random moss.
We'll put that right here. That's cmoss at hjlawfirm.com. Just give you a little more work. Thanks, Dan. And you're right on the highway. I spot you guys all the time off
494, 169. Yeah.
Appreciate all the work you've done over the years from showing up to the events to hosting the Minnesota Hemp Cooperative at your building to growing and doing so much more. How excited are you for 2026 and where are your realities at?
I'm super excited for 26. I know that the rollout has been frustrating and I've not been happy on certain parts.
Yeah.
But I just try to remind people that we're not building for today. We're building for years down the road. And I want this industry to be around after my grandkids are dead.
Generations.
Right.
Yeah.
And so I just am really excited that we are growing, that the industry will catch up, the supply will catch up.
Yes.
And I think we're going to have a very successful market. People from all the different states, they can't believe it when they come to Minnesota. They really like what we have going on.
And they're hardly here yet.
Yes.
Right? Yeah. Would love to catch up again in the future. Maybe NECAN, Canna Con. The first half of the year, it's dominated by these national conferences. Second half of the year, we're going to get out into the Bemidji's, the Moorheads, the Brainards. We're gonna get back to our roots with the mini expos and showcases.
Yes.
And really start touching the folks that are out in those communities where a lot of these licenses are held.
Yeah. No, I think it's super exciting. And I think there's I have clients out in the rural section that really feel passionate about what they're doing and bringing access to their community. And so I just talked to these people and they've been waiting for years and we're finally going to see, the fruits of their labor. And it's just awesome.
To go below ground to above ground, to go from underground market to from legacy to legitimacy. That's exciting.
It is really exciting. So
thank you for being here. Thank you for your support. That's Carol Moss with Hellmuth and Johnson. Reach out if you need anything. She's a pro, and her team is making progress happen. Thank you for fighting for hemp industry.
Thank you.
Yeah.
All right.
We'll see you next time on the Canna Connect Show.
Bye.